Hello everyone, this is Tina from Tina's Workshop, and this is week 1 of my Christmas in July 2024. And if you watched my podcast on Saturday, you will have had a sneak peek of what we are doing today. I'm going to start off this month with the bare bones, the very beginning. We are going to blend and make our own Christmas colorway yarn. So I have gone through my yarn or my fibers and found some different things, and I've wanted to do a Christmas colorway for a while, so this is really exciting for me. So I picked out some white Cormo. No, wait, not Cormo. Hold on. I think it's Coriadel. I've got a crinkle. I have a giant bag of it here. I just pulled out a little piece to show you, but my tag is in the bag. Coriadel. Sorry, Coriadel. So this is over a pound. No, 11 pounds? 11 pounds, 7 ounces, 50 yards. I doubt I'll use all this, but that's what's in this bag. It's called Little Feather, which is probably the name of the sheep it came off of. And it's pin drafted Coriadel from Morrow Fleece Works. And so this is a little bit of it. So it's a really nice, kind of a creamy white. It's not a bright white. It's just slightly off of that bright white. And I really like that. So has not been bleached. When they bleach it and you get the super white, it damages the fibers. So this is an unbleached natural white. So that's going to be our base. And so we've got white Coriadel as our base color. And then to go on top of this, I pulled out this kind of a variegated red, and this is Wensleydale. It's almost got like a little bit of orange in places, but for what we're doing, I think it's going to be just fine. So we've got Wensleydale for our red, and then if you've watched me for a while and watched my Paradise Fibers, you know a while back I got this amazing green Tessa silk, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and the color is just so yummy. So here it is. It's probably slightly a little bit more muted than this is showing on the screen, at least what I'm seeing right now. It totally matches this bag perfectly. You can see the bag color is slightly different. Anyway, the colorway was chartreuse, and this is 1/2 ounce of Tessa silk. So we're going to use this to add some color. So we've got our main Christmas colors. And then I think it's Stellina. It's something like that. I do not have a label on it, but it is nice and sparkly, so we can add a little bit of glitz. So it's going to be very basic and simple, basic Christmas colors and a little bit of glitz. And I do not have a blending board as of yet. All the things I do not have a blending board yet. But I do have a couple drum carders. So I'm going to use my basic drum carder to blend it. And, I'm attached here. So we are going to blend it and get a couple bats made up, and then we will take those bats to the spinning wheel and we will spin them and see what we come out with. So I am going to switch so that you can follow along. Okay, so this is my basic drum carder. I do have a little brush that goes onto it. I have this big brush, which the tines are in the opposite direction as a regular carding brush, because this is used to help smooth down when you put it onto here. And then I did go through and I cleaned out so that I didn't have any leftover stuff, and I pulled quite a bit out. and I'm sure if I kept going for it, I'd probably pull more stuff out, but I had quite a bit in there that needed to come out. So we are going to start with our white layer and then add our other colors in, and then we're going to create multiple layers. So that way when it spins, all this is going to come out together. So let's get started. I'm actually going to pull out a bunch of links and put them here next to me so that I will be able to grab them easily. And yep, there's something in there. Pluck that out. So I have this at kind of an awkward angle for me, but I wanted you guys to be able to see what was going on. So I might be at kind of a strange angle. This Wensleydale is really like clumped together. So I'm having trouble pulling it apart this way. So I'm pulling it into lengths, and then I'm going to take these lengths and I'm going to separate them out so I have smaller pieces. So, okay, so I pulled things apart. So here's all my green that I have. And then I've got a whole bunch of red. These are, you can see about how long they are. Let's see if I can pull back a little bit here. There we go. So here's all my red. And then I've pulled apart some white. I have a whole lot more, you saw that. So I've got plenty of white. So I'm going to keep going on this. And then there's the Stellina, so sparkly. So we're going to see how much we can get out of this. I've got plenty of white to keep going for a while, so we're going to go till we run out of colors, I think. I should say, I think, yes. So we shall see. So we're going to start off with the white. See if I can get my microphone to not pull off of me. Standing up now. Like I said, awkward angle. You know what? Let's see if I can clip the microphone somewhere. And then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's see. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let's see, move this red out of my way. Okay, so I'm going to pull this apart. Now all this stuff has been carded already, so we're not having to try and get anything to layer in the right direction or anything like that. We are just blending our colors to create the color that we want. So I think I can put two of these side by side. So I'll just pull that apart, put that in there. Let's turn this so I can see and see if it'll focus. There we go. And then, now this part's gonna make some noise, but we're going to make this in, and you can see it coming up here. And we're gonna add some more. So we want a decent amount of white on here before we start adding any colors. So we'll get some more light in here. There we go. So we're going to keep adding this white, like I said, till we get to the point where we're happy we've got a nice coating here of white. And then we will start the colors. So I will pause my video for a minute until I get to that point so you don't have to watch me winding a whole bunch of white onto here. So I'm going to use my brush to, oh, helps if I do it the right way. I'm brushing this down a little bit into the tines, because you can put a lot of fiber in these things. Oops, going off the edge of my table. I do have clamps to clamp this on, but I have this on my desk so that my camera is right here, and I cannot clamp it on right on this. Okay, so we got a nice little grouping of white in here. It's nice and tight down into there. I could maybe, oh shoot, my brush popped off. Technical difficulties. Hopefully it stays. I could probably put a little bit more white onto here if I wanted to, but is that just passing? Oh, oh cool, it passes my desk. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of color now because I'm over eager. So I'm going to pull some of this red apart. We have it a little bit looser. And then I pull it apart even more. So we're just putting little bits in. So you can see where we're starting to add a little color into here. Candy cane. I have an electric drum carder, and I could do this with the electric drum carder, but I really want to pay attention to where I'm laying my colors, and if I do it on the electric drum carder, it's just going to go through really fast, and I don't really want to do that with this. And you can paint this stuff on too. You can do this, and with the Stellina, we for sure will do that. But you can add your colors this way because of the fact that we're not trying to get all that cleaned out like you normally would on a carder. So you can have a little bit more control over where you're putting things that way. You know what? If we do that, we can move that out of the way. And then we don't lose stuff down here either because this is all good fleece. I think I'm going to add a little bit more white. We'll add some green next. So our white is our main color. Our red is going to be our accent color. And our green is going to be like a secondary accent color because we have less of it and because it's a silk. And then the Stellina will be just a little bit. So here's our green. Let's put a little bit of this in. Oh, we might need to brush you down a little bit. There we go. Okay, go back to our green. this green kind of grab here and there. And it's going to have a very different look from this when it gets spun. It's always so interesting to see the differences between your fleeces and what it looks like when it's spun and what it looks like when it's finished in a project. Every different step has a very different look. Oh, look at those colors. Isn't that pretty? I think that's really pretty. Let's add a little sparkle. How fun is that? That's so much fun. Look at that. It's so pretty. Add in some more white. I'm going to sandwich it all together. Caught one underneath. No, no, come out. There we go. Oh, darn it. No. There we go. I find this so fun because when you go and you pull this off, you don't realize how much fiber is hiding in these teeth. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to spin it. I have a spinning wheel that I'm really wanting to use. It'll be my first time using it. It's a matchless, but I only have one bobbin for it. That's the problem. My other wheels I all have multiple bobbins for, and this one I only have one bobbin, and I really want to use it. My favorite to this point has been my Kromsky, and the one thing I don't like about my Kromsky, the matchless does. So that makes me really want to use the matchless. But it only has the one bobbin, and in reality you need at least 3 bobbins so that you can spin singles onto 2 and ply onto the 3rd. Or you can, if you only have 2, you could spin, for me, because I have multiple wheels, I could spin 2 singles and then I have a flick. Probably my least favorite of all my wheels, but it's the only one I have that has large bobbins. So there's a lot of times I will use it for plying, because then I can fill 2 bobbins and ply it on there. Because normally if you're going to ply onto the same size bobbin, you really only want to fill half of your bobbin, because when you combine those 2 half bobbins, it's going to make a full bobbin. I should do this more often. This is really fun. Let's see, I think we'll try for a second layer on here, and then we'll pull it off. I think I still have enough room to be able to do a second layer. So let's add some more red. Because we want a nice twist of color when we spin it. So pretty. I know I keep saying that, but it is. I mean, come on. It's so pretty. Okay, let's brush it. You can see right here the squishiness that's in there because there's a lot of fleece in there. Okay, we're going to add a little bit more green. Let's get some green over here this time. A little bit of silk. There we go. Nice little stripe of it there. Another stripe right. Ooh. Smooth that out a little bit. We look. So here's our color so far. Add a little bit more sparkle in it and then some more white. Sparkle's fun. Just kind of wiggly niggly. So pretty. Okay, we'll throw some more white on here and then we'll pull it off. Okay, I used the whole pile of white I had out here. Should have waited. I know it was over 2 ounces. I think it was probably close to 3 ounces. So I think it was probably close to 3 ounces of white I put on here, and I had about this much red, focus, about that much red, and I probably had about this much green, and then the little bits of the stellina. So let's see. Okay, I had to go find my doffer. That's this little pointy thing. So we're gonna go right into this little trough that's here, and we're gonna pull up little bits. See if we can do it without the thing moving on us. So we'll pull up little bits at a time and separate them. You never want to cut this. You don't want to ever have your fibers cut. So you pull on it, it separates, it pulls them apart at the staples. Even in these little tiny ones I'm doing, there's a lot of pull there. I might have to try smaller ones. Little bits. It's hard because where I don't have this attached to, I'm trying to keep the carder from coming up at me. There we go. It's hard too because I'm pushing on these. They're basically staples all through this, and I'm pushing down on that to keep the carder down while I pull this up. So normally if I had had this attached to the table, I wouldn't have to worry about that. I think I'm just gonna have to try and get smaller bits, and then it won't pull so much. The thing I hate the most about pulling things off of a carder, any way you look at it, is trying to, look, there's still some there. Because part of this is going to go back down by all these teeth as it comes off. So we're going to start over here, and we're going to pull it off this way. And if we need to, if we get any that are like stuck in here, then we can take our offer and we can pull them out. But knock on wood, so far this one is coming off nicely. Okay, so now we need to back this up. This is where I get nervous. Oh, come on, why are you loosening? See, it doesn't even want to go through. Should almost just loosen my liquor in. Go that way. No, you don't want to. Go that way. Now, you may not notice it, but right in here, look at all that was still down in there. And it just kind of created a little bit of a haziness down there that I could see it was there. Okay, look at, see? All that. Last little bit off of there. It's attaching because of where it went past the liquor in. My doffer. Move this out of the way. You can still see how much stuff ends up coming out underneath the machine. There's still little bits, even though this was all cleaned and prepared, you can still see little bits. So, put that in garbage. And let's see how this looks. Look at this big, fluffy bat. go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at the colors in it. Just realized that my light wasn't down on it. There we go. So as this gets spun, I will actually pull it apart in sections here and then spin it. So I am going to card up a bunch more bats, and then I will come back to you later when I'm ready to spin. Okay, seriously, look at all this fluff. This is just amazing. Have that out as far as I can take it. I did, there you go. See my hands next to it? There's a lot of fluff here. I did 4 bats that have stellina in it, and then I ran out of stellina. So I decided to keep going, and I did 3 bats that is plain without the stellina. So I can kind of blend that as I'm spinning. I was trying to get 4 bats, so I would have had half and half, but I ran out of the silk. So once I ran out of the silk, I stopped. I still have this much of the Wensleydale left, and I still have quite a bit of the Corriedale. I'm kind of curious as to how much weight I have in these. I gotta find a spot for this. Let's see. Wait, that one's sparkly. Okay, we'll divide them right here. Okay, let's see. There is, make sure there's nothing touching it, 1.6 ounces. $1.5 ounces. Stay. 1.7 ounces. This one must have been my first one. It got a lot of stellina. $1.5 ounces. So at least on those so far, I've been very consistent. $1.4 ounces. $1.7 ounces. Let's see, make it go this way. 1.4 ounces. So I think I was pretty consistent. I've got 1.4 to 1.7 ounces in each one of these. So let's see. So if we multiply at the 1.4, just to kind of get an average, times the 7 bats I did, that's 9.8. So I've got right around 10 ounces, right? Yeah. So I've got right around 10 ounces that I did. So now what I'm thinking about is, and I am like really high because I put my chair up high so that I could work. So when I work on these on the spinning wheel, I am going to take them like this. So I'm thinking that I am either going to spin all of the unglittery and spin all of the glittery and then ply them. I'm going to either spin all those and spin all these and then ply them together, or my other thought, which I think I'm going to have to do because of the fact that I'm short one unglittered, is if I take a piece of the glittery and spin it And then my next piece, if I grab it from the unglittered and spin it, and I go back and forth like that, then I should get a pretty even mix, I think, and just continue and go like that. So, and then when it gets plied, that's gonna kind of all get mixed together anyway, and you may end up with glitter all the way through. You may have little spots without, but all the rest of the colors are the same. So I think that's the way I'm going to end up doing that. So it is 7:30 at night. So I think, because I still have to get a bunch of other stuff done for this coming week and this, so I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow before I start spinning. So I'll see you all tomorrow. So I'm all set up here. I've got my fiber that has no sparkle and my fiber with sparkle, and I'm going to alternate between the two of them. I think this is going to become more of an art yarn, which can still be very pretty. And I am spinning on my Kromsky, which is one of my go-to spinning wheels. Trying to see, let's see if I pull this in. Do you see here? Let's see, can you see that? I'm trying to look in an itty bitty monitor way over there. Okay, do you see that right there? That is a rear view mirror for bicycle. And let's see, I put that on here because this is so far away. Generally I can only see part of the bobbin when I'm spinning. So I put the mirror there so that I can see the whole bobbin as I'm spinning and know when to stop and move it. And works really well. It's just zip tied there. It's on, my husband stuck it onto a dowel and then zip tied it on. Okay. So I am just running this regular S twist, and then I will apply it in a Z twist, and I'm actually going to switch spinning wheels when I apply it. I'm actually going to use my least favorite of all my spinning wheels to apply it, but it has the largest bobbins, so I can put a lot more on that. So I'm just doing short draw. I am not very good at long draw, but I think this yarn works better with short draw because I need to keep kind of, see if you can see this, I kind of keep twisting this so that I can make sure I'm grabbing the different colors. So I don't want to have too much of one, not enough of the other, and all that. So I had a viewer the other day. I made a comment on another video, another fiber person I follow, and I cannot say her name for the life of me, but I will link her down below. I love watching her videos. But I had a comment underneath one of her videos and was responding with somebody, and I promised in this video that I would tell the full story. So you guys are going to get a little story today. So when I first got into spinning, I'd wanted to spin because of course I do so many other things. So of course I wanted to do something like that. But I never really started to get serious about it until I inherited my grandparents' spinning wheel. Now, that spinning wheel you may have seen in another video. I have a video where my husband and I restore that spinning wheel. And our best guess is it's a 1700 Swedish flax wheel. And my grandparents got that probably in the 1950s at a barn sale. My mom had gone with them. They came home and the treadle was missing on it. So they went back and they tried to find it. Couldn't find it. So it was, and they had bought it just as decoration. They had not bought it to actually use. And it sat by their fireplace for years. And then the last home they had a big area that was up high where they could display things, and it sat way up there, and that was the first time I ever saw it. And when I saw it, I knew that was something one day I wanted to have. Well, nobody in our family spun anyway, so there wasn't anyone who had specifically, other than myself, that had wanted it. So I inherited it. And when I got it, I realized there was a lot more that it needed other than just the treadle, that it had not fully been usable at the time when they would have had it anyway, even with the treadle. So my husband, I know I've told you before, that he started doing woodworking so that he could help me restore it. But he didn't want to work on it until he was good enough. So he started making drop spindles, and he became very good at that. And then eventually we worked on the spinning wheel and repaired it, and there was a couple pieces that he had to completely make, other pieces we were able to repair, and it came out really nice. Well, this took a couple years from the time I got the wheel to the time that we had restored it, and even till the time that I fully started spinning. When I first got the wheel, we were living on a piece of property that had 25 sheep. Our landlord owned 25 sheep. 25 Suffolk sheep, which I now know is not the best yarn for spinning, but I had no idea. I didn't know anything about spinning at the time, other than I wanted to do it. So when it came shearing time, I asked my landlord, I said, would you mind if I have a little bit of fleece, like one sheep's worth, right? Because I want to start learning how to process it. He says, sure. Shearing day comes along, and I will try and remember and add pictures in, because there's a couple pictures that give you the gravity of this. Shearing day comes along, and he says, I left your wool for you out in the barn. So I said, okay. So I go out the barn to get the wool. He left me all 25 sheep's worth in one giant pile, no tarp under it, no skirting or anything, and the sheep had been tromping all over it. So that was my interim into this wonderful world of spinning. I took my big blue recycle bin out there and filled it full of all this fleece, and came back in and slowly started the daunting task of skirting, just the skirting part. Made myself a skirting table and sat there and skirted and skirted and skirted. And let me tell you, there was some very dirty, plus the fact that they had walked all over it and everything, and it had been on the ground. I mean, it was bad. It was very bad. I finally got it all skirted. And after I had gotten it skirted, I started off by putting it into big garbage bags. And then I could grab the garbage bags and slowly do them. So I've got the garbage bags out in this shed in our backyard. And I took all the waste fleece and used it in a lavender garden I had been planting, and I put all these stones down and everything. It was beautiful. So then I was like, okay, I need to do something with this fleece to try and get the majority of it clean and, or cleaner, so that it's at that point of doing something with it. And now at this point, I knew nobody who spun or did any of this. Everything I was learning from YouTube. And I will say Jillian Eve, she was one of the best ones on YouTube. I've watched pretty much every video she's had out, and I will link her too. She gave great details on things that other people didn't give. But what I finally ended up doing was cold washing all this fleece, just to get the gist, you know, all that heavy stuff out. So I would cold wash every one, and then I'd set it out on the skirting table and let it dry, and then put it back into garbage bags. So then I could slowly take it from there and give it a hot bath. And I'm like, okay, I need to get past this whole point too. So my husband and I tried to make a wool picker box. Didn't go very well. All those nails did not go very well. So we bought a wool picker box on Etsy, and I started using that and was just starting to get things processed and done. And at this point, he had not started woodworking yet. This was just as, you know, me trying to clean this fleece and everything. And COVID hit. And then our landlord, who had said he would never, ever sell his property, decided he was selling it. He offered it to us, but at a cool $1 million, yeah, no, we weren't, that wasn't happening. So now it's COVID, and he's decided to sell. He sells this house within 1 month. 1 month. And then we are given 60 days to get out. During COVID, during the glass fire here in our area, because, you know, we've had all these bad fires. Well, the glass fire started right by my parents' house. So my parents were evacuated with us. They couldn't even go home. My mom was going through her last chemo treatments, or not chemo, but cancer treatments. And so she's trying to go through these treatments. They're evacuated with us. It's COVID. People's houses have burned down, and we're trying to find a place to live. Well, we got extremely lucky in the place we found, and we love it. We've got absolutely wonderful neighbors and everything. And we literally got the keys to our new place the same day we had to be out of the other place. And we start packing. The first thing I do is I start packing all my outside stuff, things I don't need right then, and I was not paying attention to this. I start packing up all my outside stuff, including my fleece. I don't need that right then. So I've got this little tiny cargo trailer that had all our camping supplies in it, because when we'd go camping, we'd just hook onto it and we'd go and we'd have everything we needed. Our tents, our stove, anything we needed, it was in there. So I decided to start putting all my outdoor stuff right into that. It was somewhere I could pack the things and have it stored. So I put all my garden things out there, and I start putting my bags of fleece out there. We get moved in, and once everything gets settled and all that, it takes a while, you know, before you're settled into another place. And I finally get around to the point where I can go deal with the fleece. I get out into this little trailer, and I'm like, what is going on? It was full of moths. I mean, full of moths. They were everywhere. I was like, you have to be kidding me. So I get onto one of my Facebook groups, and they ask people, well, what should I do? And they tell me to take the bags, black garbage bags, put them out in the sun, let the sun bake the moths out. Okay, I'll try that. So take the bags, I set them on top of that little trailer, and it was summertime, and I let them sit out there and cook. Well, things happen. My mom's cancer got real bad, and we ended up losing her. And my stepdad ended up living with us and everything. So there was just a whole lot of stuff that was going on. And I completely forgot about those bags of wool. When I finally go back, because this trailer is not like right in my yard or something where I'm visually seeing it. It's over at a friend's house in their backyard where I don't go all the time. So I go over and I get into the, well, not get into, I look, and these bags have been rained on. They have fallen off of the trailer. They have holes torn in them. There is dirt in it. It was horrible. They were garbage. There was nothing else except for the fact they are garbage. I've put a lot of work into these things so far. They were complete garbage. I was heartsick. Well, I had one of my pots that I had out there that I was using for cleaning the fleece had this little bit of fleece in it that I had brought home earlier. And I'd found it when I got home, and I boiled it all and everything to get rid of anything that might have possibly been in it. And I ended up needle felting a little sheep. And I will show you. Hold on. I needle felted this cute little Suffolk sheep with that little bit of Suffolk sheep wool that I had. And I was like, well, there we go. That's the extent of what I had. And I was happy to have something out of it, but out of 25 sheep's worth of wool, that's what I had left out of it. So surprisingly enough, I still decided I wanted to do this. And I still enjoy starting from scratch and scouring the fleece. And I think it's really fun too when you actually are lucky enough to know the animal that the fleece has come off of. So here I am. I'm still here. It's not a sob story. It's a I learned a lot story. And I know what to do and not do. And I also know if somebody says, hey, I left you fleece in the barn, if I see it like that again, to just turn and say thank you, but no thank you, and walk away. So I'm almost done with, if you couldn't tell, I had already started this. I wanted to get set up and ready. And I think I got this bobbin just about full. And then I'm going to switch to the other machine. And I will apply it and we will see how it looks. I will say at first I wasn't sure how I was going to like it because there was so much white. There were areas where I was just getting a lot of white, and I wasn't really sure about that. But then when I stopped and looked at it sitting on the bobbin, it really doesn't look too bad. And once it gets plied, it's going to be getting plied with, you know, there's a good chance that those white parts are going to be mixed with colored parts, and it's not going to matter so much anyway. So because I have more of the sparkly fleece than I do the non-sparkly, I started my bobbin with the sparkly bit, and I am ending it with a sparkly bit. And I just lost that. So, at least I think I am. I'm going to try to. I've got a little bit of space I might be able to put onto this before I have to quit on it. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of sparkle in here. It's definitely going to be an art yarn, but I think it's going to be pretty. it's going to be pretty. Still don't know what I'm going to do with it until I get it all done, look at how much I have, and think about what exactly I can do. I'm just going to keep working on this, and then I will switch machines and we will ply. Okay, so here are the 2 bobbins that I did. So this is my Frick wheel, and the company is no longer in business. It is a single treadle, and the reason it's my least favorite is it's very hard to use. It's hard to get it started and keep it going. You gotta really work it to get it going. Once you get it going, it's okay, but it's not real easy as far as that goes. Now, one thing I do like, oh, there's another thing I don't like. One thing I do like, I like it doesn't have an orifice, it has this triangle, so that makes that part really easy to do. But this slider is also really hard to work, and it tends to twist, and I don't like that. Like I said, not my favorite wheel. I need to get a jumbo flyer for one of my other wheels. Now, my first wheel I actually used is my Ashford Elizabeth. I bought it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, something like that, and I paid I think $150 for it, and it had hardly ever been used. The person had bought it to use it and then moved overseas, and they had a friend selling it for them. So I bought that, and that's what I learned on. And that's the one you see in the back of most of my videos. And then I haven't actually spun on my grandmother's that much. It's a flax wheel. It's a touchy wheel. There's actually a couple things I need to do just to make it run that much smoother. I like the Kromsky. That's one of my favorite wheels. It folds up, it has a bag it goes into, I can take it places. I just got a matchless in that last batch of stuff I got, and I really like it because the flyer sets forward in front of the wheel, kind of like how this one does. And I like the fact that it's closer, and I forgot about moving this again. It was actually working, and I forgot I needed to move it. So the matchless is really nice, but it only has one bobbin for it, and I want to have it. I'd like to have at least 3 bobbins, if not 2, so that way you can do singles and ply on the one machine. So that's why I'm not using it right now, because I only have 1 bobbin. My husband's going to make me more, but his workshop's out in the garage, and it's been in the high 90s, sometimes hitting 100 lately, and our next week's supposed to be the same. So having him out in the garage doing that, it's just too hot. So I'm being patient and waiting. Okay, I'm going to finish plying this up, and then I will show you how it comes out. Hopefully I don't have any more spinning wheel problems. Bobby. What are they doing? Huh? What are they doing? What's they doing, Dobbers? What are they doing? Mama boy? Well, I think I got just about as much yarn on this bobbin as I could possibly get. So I'm going to pull it off and put it into a skein, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, there we go. Let's pull it off. Okay, so here it is. Let's see. We'll get some more light. I don't feel like getting that one. Okay. Meh. There we go. You can see all the little sparkles and stuff in it. I think that's actually really pretty. It makes me think of like the Christmas ribbon candies. I think that's actually come out really pretty. Okay, let's see how much this one weighs up at. 3.8 ounces, so almost 4 ounces. Really close to 4 ounces. So there we go. There's our first skein done, and I still have almost 4 bats worth. So I used probably around 3 bats. Hope you can actually hear me because microphone was way over there. That should be better now. I think I used almost 3 bats, and I still have some on one of the bobbins. So I'm thinking we should get maybe 2.5 skeins. And let's see. $108 yards. So there's 108 yards here. Bare minimum, we're for sure we should be able to double this. So we'll have over 200 yards. I'm thinking maybe around 300 yards when I'm done. And at the end of the month, we will come back. I will have the rest spun up and make something with this. So if you have an idea of what I should make, thinking in the sense that I should have, when I'm done, probably around 300 yards. Let's see. It's a novelty yarn, art yarn. And I'm gonna say at the smallest, it's gonna be a bulky yarn. So it goes, I mean, you can see it's thicker and thinner. Some places have, right there, have really thick areas. But even in the thinner areas, you've still got, I mean, might get down to a worsted in some of the thinner areas, but for the most part, it's going to be a bulky yarn. So bulky yarn, around 300 yards worth. What should I do? Put it in the comments. And we'll see at the end of the month what I end up with. So this is the start of our Christmas in July. If you like this video, click like, click subscribe if you'd like to see more. And next week will be crocheted Christmas stocking. And we will go on from there. So we will come back to this at the end of the month. Again, leave me a comment. Tell me what you would do with approximately 300 yards of this really pretty Christmas yarn. Do you think it's pretty? You know, you might not like it so much. Everybody has their own likes. Sometimes people see stuff that's really pretty and I don't like it at all, but I think it came out pretty. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you do with it. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.